Welcome y'all to the Front Porch. We got a very, very, very special edition of the Front Porch. Live from the Front Porch presents none other than the legendary Raheem Devon Oy.
Love King forever. Yeah. And you know the saying, it's no place like home. We on the countdown to the 20-year anniversary of the Love Experience album. So right now we're gonna take you down memory lane and do what we do. I hope you don't mind while I make myself comfortable. Wanna make myself comfortable. Oh yeah. On the front porch. Legendary. We're gonna do it for the ladies right now as we proceed to give you what you need. Oh, baby. This is dedicated to you, you, and you, and you. This is dedicated to you, you, and you, baby. This is dedicated to you. All the ladies say ah, and all the fellas say oh. I appreciate the style, thank you, and the number to take to carry and birth the child. Thank you, the way you play on, even when we live a real foul. Thank you, even as a single parent mama, you still roll me down somehow. You made the ends mean somehow. Thank you, I appreciate the strength, baby. You never bite your lip and say what's on your mind. Thank you. How you a lady in the street and a freak when it's bedroom time. Thank you. How you gon' grind with me, roll with me, tell me what's yours and mine. Hey, hey, if you ain't got one man to search the world to find a woman strong. Hey, a grown woman, special woman. Beautiful woman, yeah. Strong woman, grown woman. Hey, listen, when I get weak, I need a strong woman. Hey, strong woman. I don't think the Lord woman. Hey, when I think about my mama, I think of a beautiful woman. Hey, hey, hey. Oh, 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 oh. You are appreciated. Yeah. To all the ladies worldwide. But we can't stop or start without home. You are appreciated. The DMV, and DC, and Maryland, and VA. You are.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to OP at the Front Porch. So we couldn't take you to Noochie's Front Porch physically, so we brought you here virtually. We are excited that you have joined us and look forward to sharing with you a very cool initiative that the DC Office of Planning is working on. Tonight, we will tell you about the Commemorate DC initiative, share with you 4 subjects that we're going to be designing commemorative works for, and tell you about the next opportunity to stay involved with this initiative. We have teamed up with Noochie tonight to discuss how he commemorates through music on his front porch. Before we jump in, I would like to introduce Anita Kozart, Director of DC's Office of Planning, to welcome you all to tonight's event.
Thank you, Zatik, and good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining us. Welcome to Commemorate DC. This is a first in a series of exciting events. At the DC Office of Planning, we are really focused on advancing our values as an inclusive and vibrant city by planning for growth and development through the lens of our neighborhoods. And as we develop strategies for our public spaces that focus on celebrating cultural diversity, connection, and well-being of our residents. A great example of this is commemorative works. And so these are our visual art installations that tell our stories in parks and plazas and along streets and avenues. And officially speaking, a commemorative work is a memorial that's designed to permanently honor and remember a significant historical person, place, or event. They are symbols of our values and our shared experience that cultivate community pride, and they remind us of significant people and events that have shaped the city and the world we live in. For example, you may think about the mural in Congress Heights of Dorothy Height, honoring a pioneering woman in the fight for equality in the modern civil rights movement. You might also think about the bronze medallions that are in front of the Howard Theater on 7th and T Streets Northwest that honor 15 Black musicians who played at that venue at a time where the theater was open to Black residents in a racially segregated DC. And these musicians shaped music across the nation. DC is often thought of as a city of monuments, but most commemorative works in our city honor subjects of national importance, and fewer still honor the lived experiences and contributions of Black Washingtonians and people of color. So to address this issue, the district government launched Commemorate DC to identify local people, places, and events as subjects of commemorative works. OP is leading this charge because we staff the Commemorative Works Committee, which is the formal body that approves projects like this that are located in our streets, our sidewalks, and other public areas. The current district government budget for this year, 2024, includes $200,000 to be used for community-inspired designs for commemoration. That's where you come in. And looking ahead, Mayor Bowser's budget for 2025 dedicates an additional $260,000 to this effort for similar support of community-inspired designs. So the Office of Planning identified our focus areas to start in as wards 4, 5, 7, and 8. Why did we do this? Because that's where we, through our analysis, identified the places that have the fewest number of commemorative works in the city. So I really want to thank the Anacostia BID Business Improvement District, the Parks Main Street, the Upper Georgia Avenue Main Street, and the Ward 7 Business Partnership, because they really supported the efforts to collect resident input on people, places, and events to commemorate in those wards. And tonight, we're so excited to announce the subjects, sites, and artists that were selected from this public engagement process. I invite you to stick with us because this is only the beginning. Join our Office of Planning team over the next few months into the fall for creative conversations about how to honor the history of your community through commemorative works. To stay in touch with us, feel free to email us at planning@dc.gov or call us at 202-442-7600. Thank you again for joining us tonight. We're in for a great treat, and I'll turn it back to Zatik Gunn from the Office of Planning. Thanks again.
Thank you so much, Director Cozart, for kicking us off. We have a great program tonight with exciting discussions, memories, and insights. And we hope that as you participate, that you will find a story that you will connect to. So when you think about a commemorative work, what comes to mind? Are there spaces that evoke certain emotions or music that transports you back to a certain memory? Maybe the Shaw Metro PCS store playing go-go music or waiting on the next pair of New Balances to drop, or even the memories of sitting on your front porch and a neighbor stopping by to catch up on current events. We all have common experiences that tie us to a shared culture, connect us to our communities, and remind us of a collective past. When these stories are collected and transformed into a physical form, that's when they become a commemorative work that can be appreciated for future generations. So, moving on, Chris, from the Office of Planning, before we catch up with Noochie, do you mind talking a bit more about our program?
Yeah, sure, Zatik. Hi, everyone. My name is Chris Shaheen. I lead our commemorative works activities for the Office of Planning. Commemorate DC is focusing on commemorating local people, events, and organizations as a way to share local values and history and to make sure DC residents feel that their stories are told and remembered in the places that we live. Last year, our community partners set out to get your ideas on who should be commemorated in wards 4, 5, 7, and 8. We received over 100 nominations with amazing stories about DC residents involved in civil rights, arts and culture, community activism, and health and education. Nominees needed to have been deceased for 10 years, and events needed to have happened 10 years ago. That requirement brought the number of nominees to be considered down to 38. Some nominees are familiar faces, but others are not. And to learn more about these incredible stories behind each nomination, you can check out the Commemorative Work Technical Assistance Program project page to read about profiles on each of the nominees and learn about their impact on DC. You can go to the next slide. So this summer, we're going to be working with AECom. It's a local design firm and 4 public artists to create concept designs for 4 commemorative works honoring 4 of the nominees. We've been working with the DC Commission of Arts and Humanities, who selected the public artists and brought them on board as members of the design team. The public artists each work in a different medium. They include 2 muralists, Adrian Gaither and Kalika Crosby, glass artist Michael Janis, and Miriam Gusevich, who works in mixed media. We've also worked with the DC Department of Transportation and the DC Department of Parks and Recreation to identify sites that are associated with each of these subjects that we're going to be looking at. So over the summer, we're going to be holding public meetings to discuss each site and learn more about how DC residents relate to the subjects, get public comment on some concept designs, and then develop one preferred concept for each site. All concept designs will go to DC's Commemorative Works Committee, which is a group made up of DC agencies and residents of DC who will review before the preferred concept is finalized in September. At that time, we'll assess options for pursuing next steps to continue design and possible funding. So stay tuned. With that, I'm going to turn it back to Zatik.
Thank you so much, Chris, for explaining the program and why it's important. So for those of you that have joined us, earlier you saw a video and heard Raheem Devon, who graced Noochie's front porch with an amazing performance. Noochie currently has over 43,000 YouTube subscribers, over 100 videos, and a platform that is constantly expanding. So now I'd like everyone to introduce Noochie, artist and visionary of the Front Porch series.
Hey y'all, what's going on? Appreciate y'all for having me.
Perfect. So, Noochie, for those of us that have followed your platform, we have witnessed your journey navigating the music scene. You have been featured in The Washingtonian, partnered with Duke Ellington School of the Arts, and garnered several appearances in the area. Can you tell us more about your story?
For sure. I'm native Washingtonian. I've been in the music business for since birth. My dad was a pioneer in the hip hop business in the DC area, where it was primarily go-go. So I came up under somebody that was trying to fight against the odds from the beginning. So I've been fortunate enough to see the fight and been able to prevail in the fight a little bit now.
Thank you for sharing that. Sorry, give me 1 second. So, you've also had appearances from Backyard Band, Tweet, New Impressions, Miss Kim, and a bunch of other artists. Can you tell us what the catalyst was in creating the Front Porch How did you manage to take a vision and make it real to reach such a large audience who could connect with you and your platform?
Well, the porch was actually created out of doors being closed on me and not being able to get the opportunities that I felt like I knew if I had that I would excel at. So in the process of me being, I was assigned to Atlantic Records, and in the process of me getting out of my deal with Atlantic and not knowing who would own the music while I released it, I was like, let me do something that I can't monetize from, but I can share my passion and my gift with the people and through social media or through whatever avenue. And I literally just went out on my porch and had my phone and just started rapping. And fast forward, I stayed consistent with it and upgraded some things along the way. And now I got the same labels that I was trying to get signed to, trying to send other artists that they have signed to the porch now. So it's been a wild ride. It's been a journey. It's been a long one, but very prosperous.
Definitely. That's so amazing to hear how some, like you said, artists that, or the labels that you were trying to get signed to, are now sending their artists to you. I want to ask you the next question. You talked a bit about taking your cell phone out to your front porch, and recording videos. So we know that that's an important public space to you. What are some other streets, parks, or plazas, or even sidewalks in the city that have meaning for you? And can you tell us why?
I personally, MLK has always been just
Sorry.
kind of the connector to just where I gotta go throughout my life. I just vividly remember being on MLK. My mom worked on MLK. That's how you get to Berry Farms. Berry Farms, the Goodman League has always been like a staple. I just remember going there throughout my childhood and even as an adult to the point where I was actually performing at the Goodman games. U Street has been when I was as an adult trying to make my way through the music industry in DC. There were a lot of open mics on U Street early, like in the early 2010s. There's a lot of open mics I spent my time at. Yeah, and Capital One. My goal is to get to Capital One and sell out a show one day. Maybe put a big front porch concert festival on that Capital One. So that's always been a dream of mine to be in there, actually putting something together. So those are some of my favorite places.
Thank you for sharing those places with us. I'm pretty sure that those of you watching have also definitely enjoyed some of those places. I know I was at Capital One the other day, so definitely looking forward to you, Noochie, being able to explain your platform and perform there. So I have one final question, and that would be, as you reflect on your achievements, the neighborhoods you grew up in, and the city you call home, what does commemoration mean to you? And what call to action would you give those who are listening in?
Well, it means that you came, you served your purpose. You did what you were supposed to do, and you left a legacy. And I feel like the people we commemorating today have all done that, and I think all rightfully deserve it. And it's just an honor to even be. I'm not being commemorated today, but it's just an honor to be involved with the commemoration of people. Just to know that that's even the circle that you share with, that quality of individuals who you even considered amongst. So it means a lot to me, and hopefully one day I'm commemorate. Hopefully they change the rules so I don't gotta be gone first.
No, definitely. We'll have to talk to Chris about that. He's the one who made the rules. But thank you so much for joining us tonight, for your insight and for sharing more information. I personally will definitely continue to look next to the front porch releases and look forward to seeing you continue to shine a light on our city and community. So we definitely appreciate you being here and look forward to you enjoying the rest of the events.
Appreciate you. Thank y'all. It was an honor.
Wonderful. So Hopefully by now, you all are really tuned in and thinking about your own ways to commemorate, share, and represent your neighborhoods. I am inspired, and with that energy, I am now excited to announce our subjects and sites. So as we unveil each site and subject, let's celebrate our shared history, take moments of pause for reflection, and honor the legacies that have made DC the special place that it is. Each site and subject chosen by the community holds its own unique story. So we hope that as we're announcing them, you will share your fondest memory of each of them in the chat as we go. So first up, all right, y'all. Picture yourself walking down Georgia Ave amid a kaleidoscope of costumes, the air alive with infectious beats of steel drums and the scent of good food filling the streets. The Caribbean Carnival is more than just a festival. It's a celebration of identity, unity, and the vibrant tapestry of cultures that make up the Caribbean diaspora. The commemorative work will be designed for a small park at the intersection of Georgia Avenue and Arkansas Avenue, which was along the parade route and 2 blocks from where the Caribbean Carnival Incorporated's office was located. Roland Barnes, president of the Caribbean Carnival Incorporated, has joined us to share his fondest memory of decades of service and celebration for the Caribbean community. I know that Roland was having a few technical issues, so let's see if he was able to tune in. Roland, we might have to move on to the next one until...
Are you able to hear me now?
Oh, we can. Hi, Roland.
Okay, great. Thank you for the opportunity to share with our listening audience not only the history, but the revelry that's associated with the carnival that we were fortunate enough to showcase on Georgia Avenue for 18 years. And what's so important about this carnival, it's an opportunity for, as we say, expatriates who migrated to the Washington, D.C., not only to pursue further education at Howard and GW, for example, but also to embrace their cultural heritage and seek opportunities to showcase. This led to the formation of an organization, DC Caribbean Carnival, and the overall objective was to seek an opportunity to organize and develop successfully an annual Caribbean-style parade along one of the main arteries, and we selected Georgia Avenue because a lot of Caribbean businesses were along Georgia Avenue, and they fully support this event. And for us, over the years, it was important not only to identify with the businesses, but also some of the long-standing organizations that were engaged in representing the Caribbean community, and also an opportunity for them to be fully engaged in as far as the cultural interplay. Referencing some of these organizations, I would like to acknowledge, for example, the Trinidad and Tobago Masqueraders through Michael Dupini, the Image Band with Lofton Sargent, Panmaster Steel Orchestra, the Trinidad and Tobago Association of Washington, D.C. By the way, that's one of the long-standing Caribbean organizations that is located also in that area. Also, we have to recognize the existence at least of 2 steel bands, the Pan Masters and also the Trinidad and Tobago Steel Band. And last, bringing up the list is World Beat. It's important for me to bring these to the forefront because a lot of the individuals and leaders of those organizations decided to combine their resources, capabilities, and in order to strengthen our existence in the district, an opportunity we took advantage of to showcase our cultural heritage. Not only to be out there and having a good time along Georgia Avenue, but seeking an opportunity to showcase arts and crafts, Caribbean foods, and of course, the festive atmosphere. As we continued over the lifespan, we have been fortunate enough to have successful events for 18 years along the Georgia Avenue corridor. Well received by the residents, which is the primary objective is to affirm an interplay, because it's important that we share and understand each other's goals and aspirations as far as showcasing and preserving our culture, our art forms. So the opportunity did avail itself for us to do whatever is necessary. We were able to establish long-term working relationship with all the various agencies in the district and the various mayors that have been in existence, recognizing that we DC Caribbean Carnival have been around for 31 years. So we were fortunate enough to meet all the mayors and the various council members and work with everyone, because as we have a saying, I don't care where you came from. When you have an opportunity to combine your resources and showcase your cultural heritage, you are able to strengthen the bond that you need to foster to ensure that your neighbor is your neighbor. So as we indicated, and it's very important for us to acknowledge that while we started off with just 9 costume bands and had just 25,000 people the first year, when we were forced to suspend the carnival, the last report from the Metropolitan Police, we had over 350,000 people out there and 25 bands. And not only that, representing the whole spectrum of the Caribbean, both English and non-English speaking. In fact, part of our mandate was to ensure that there was maximum opportunity for all groups to participate. So our PR effort was not only disseminating information in English, but also Spanish and Creole. So the opportunity did exist for us to do whatever is important for us to not only present our product, DC Carnival, but to affirm the existence of DC Caribbean Carnival and our commitment to continue to seek all opportunities to continue to embrace our community, especially the Ward 4 that have welcomed us, and do whatever is necessary to preserve and showcase.
Thank you so much, Roland, for sharing with us. That was an amazing outlook and a lot of good information. And I hope that you all are listening and have tapped in and have some good memories about the Caribbean Carnival that you're sharing in the chat right now. We are definitely looking forward to recognizing the significance of the Caribbean Carnival to DC and its importance to DC's Caribbean community and the neighborhoods along Georgia Avenue. So thanks again, Roland. Moving along. So we are now going to shine a light on an untold story of resilience, hardship, and perseverance. Our next subject takes us back to the very founding of our nation's capital, but tells a story not well known. In Ward 5, the commemorative subject is enslaved people who built the U.S. Capitol. Imagine seeing a promissory note from 1795, noting that the leader of DC paid an enslaver $5 per month for 3 months of slave labor at the Capitol. This is an actual event. The site for this commemorative work design is a small park on Bladensburg Road at Douglas Street Northeast. Enslaved workers traveled down Bladensburg Road from Maryland to the Capitol building. Anwar Salim, Executive Director of the H Street Main Street, is going to tell us more about this subject. While we hear from him, let's pause to honor their memory and acknowledge their contributions. Anwar? So we can't hear you if you can unmute.
Okay. Good evening, everyone. Again, my name is Anwar Salim, and I'm thrilled to be here on this platform this evening to share the exciting news about the commemorative project that the Office of Planning has chosen, enslaved people who built the U.S. Capitol. This project is about uncovering the histories that lie beneath the grandeur of the U.S. Capitol. My great-grandfather, Joseph Brooks, who was involved in the planning of Lakeland, Maryland, my grandfather, Jacob Brooks, and my father, Richard Brooks, passed down stories to me about the challenges the U.S. Capitol had to go through and how incompetent sometimes the owners were, and how they tried to extort the U.S. government and to complete the Capitol. But for too long, the stories of enslaved individuals who labored tirelessly to construct this iconic symbol of democracy have been overlooked and forgotten. Their contributions were not just significant, they were indispensable. From the skilled craftsmanship from the skilled craftsmen of laborers, these individuals played a crucial role in every aspect of the Capitol's construction. It's time we honored their expertise, their hard work, and their sacrifices. By commemorating the enslaved people who traveled by horse and buggy with Moses steel encasements and other materials and tools from Maryland into the district, down Blankenburg Road and Maryland Avenue, into the mosquito swamplands and torturing weather conditions to build the U.S. Capitol, we are taking a bold step towards confronting our past, acknowledging the painful truth that have been brushed aside for far too long. This project is a testament to our commitment to truth, justice, and reconciliation. But it's not just about looking back, it's about looking forward. By telling these stories, we inspire future generations to reckon with their own history and to stand up for justice and equality. We are not just honoring the past, we are shaping the future. So let's embark on this journey together to uncover the hidden stories, hidden histories, to honor the contribution, to confront our past, and to inspire future generations. Together, we can ensure that the voices of the enslaved people who built the U.S. Capitol are heard and remembered for generations to come.
Thank you so much, Anwar, for sharing your family stories as well as helping to tell the story of those who built the Capitol. What an amazing opportunity to pass down such important oral history through generations.
Thank you.
So, Ward 7, our next subject, celebrates the innovation and self-sufficiency of Black entrepreneurs who overcame barriers to build thriving businesses and uplift the Deanwood community. Black entrepreneurship has thrived all over DC, but one place where it was most notable is Deanwood, especially along Dean Avenue, now known as Nannie Helen Burroughs Avenue. Imagine driving through your neighborhood during segregation and stopping by one of the 5 barbershops to get a haircut, getting your house designed by an African-American craftsman, or getting your ice delivered to your door. This was the story of Deanwood, a self-sufficient Black community in the 1940s and 50s.
Can you
The site, sorry, Ms. Chandler.
go right ahead?
The site is Lederer Gardens at the intersection of 49th and Nannie Helen Burroughs Avenue. Deanwood was also home to DC's only amusement park, Suburban Gardens. Not sure how many of you knew that DC actually had an amusement park. That was open to Black Washingtonians. Alice Chandler, educator and historian, has joined us to share her fondest memory of growing up in Deanwood and the families that established themselves in this neighborhood. Thank you so much for joining us, Ms. Chandler. If you will please share.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am, we can.
I can barely see me, but I can talk. That's okay. I grew up in Deanwood. In fact, the house I'm sitting in right now is the house that I wasn't born here, but in the house, but I came to this house. I was adopted by the family that was here, and they were a military family. And as a result, I got here 5 months after they moved, not 5 months after they moved in. They moved in 1946, and they were not the first ones who moved in. They were one of the, they called them like the youngsters who moved in. Many of the houses along our way were from 1945, and and incidentally, there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, about 5 families that are still here that were here when I was a child. So this is an area that we really, really loved, and we basically stayed here. Something that's of interest, I was looking for, they showed the Strand Pharmacy. Well, the Strand Pharmacy became the Strand Movie Theater. And during that time, what is really interesting is that they haven't forgotten about it. It was made a historical site and is scheduled to open hopefully at the end of April or sometime in May as a restaurant and a bar. Not just a bar, but a bar. I got to see the inside, and it's really, really nice. It's going to really bring a lot of pride, a lot of interest back, because it will bring older people and younger people together at that site. I forget, I think they're going to have a seating for at least about 100, about 20 to 25 at the bar. They will have uh, a place where you can have special events. They will have fellas and women. There are many women who smoke cigars. They will have a cigar area. They will have bands there and other things. So when you look at this, the very last picture down here in the corner where it says Strand Pharmacy, when I first started going to the Strand Theater, they did sell prescriptions where they were also selling the things that you would buy to go into a movie theater, which I think is interesting. Um, and Parker, who's next door to the picture next door to that, there was a next door to the picture up here for Washington and Sons Funeral Home. They had one of the grocery stores here in the area, and they are now still in the area on Sheriff Road, and they are now leasing their building to Eritreans, and I've noticed that Eritreans are drawn to this area. There's several of the people from that area of Africa that have businesses here. I'm interested in seeing it to grow again, because after the 1980s opium uh, onslaught after the Vietnam War, many of the things that were here moved. But I can tell you, I was impressed with, if there was a black hardware store, we had a white hardware store. We had a white liquor store. We had a black liquor store. And also the pharmacists who were at these drugstores, they were always black. At Van Parks, which is at 48th Street, and also on Division Avenue. And we would like to bring back the, the love of Division Avenue that was there. I'm sure that, what was the H.D. Woodson was an engineer. Many people thought he was an architect, but he was an engineer, and he was responsible for widening Benning Road as we know it now. At one time, it was a narrower road, and now, of course, we know there's a major thoroughfare through the city. And my house also sits on a piece of the land where the original Suburban Gardens amusement park was located. And my mother, my mother said she came here to the park and rode on the roller coaster and everything. And the houses were here specifically for Black men, and of course they call them Negroes, who returned from World War II. And they didn't have housing. And there was a white gentleman who said he felt that that was so unfair. People put their lives on the line to fight for this country. And subsequently, that's why you have what is now a part of Deanwood. But this is not the original Deanwood. It was called Suburban Heights. As you know, you have Friendship Heights and other places across the city. This was Suburban Heights initially, and then it became Deanwood. as the Civic Association and other places came together and decided to merge them. Sheriff Road is still a place where you can go for the Parkers down here on the lower left-hand corner, and they were very much and still are a part of. I think it's only one son left, but he has the barber shop, and the grocery store is still operating. If you look at the book called, Washington DC's Deanwood, they show a picture of the original store, and it is operated currently under lease to Eritreans. Uh, let's see, what else? Is there anything else? Washington and Sons, they are primarily supported by many of the Blacks who are at the churches. There are a number of Black churches in this area. First Baptist of Deanwood, Pilgrim's Rest, Tabernacle, and Conti was responsible for bringing education to this area on Division Avenue. And so this area, even though it doesn't have the support of the churches that once was at one time, it still has some camaraderie. There's a neighbor around the corner. She was born in the house where she is, and I mean it's very interesting. I know one of my neighbors about three houses up. She was not born in that house, but she lives there, and her grandmother owned that house. So it's really interesting how original it really is still, even though it took place a number of years ago. We're not quite, Deanwood is not as old as the Deanwood area as a whole from the 1790s. And some people even ask us, well, why won't we change the name? Well, Deanwood, upon emancipation, which we celebrated yesterday, was it yesterday, the 16th, or is it the 16th?
Yes, ma'am. It was yesterday.
Okay. What's interesting is that Dean actually gave deeds for individual Blacks to have homes and for Blacks to also have money if they chose to move from here. And I did see a deed that one of my classmates brought to school when I was younger. And I could go on and on and on and just teach a whole book just on Deanwood. Yeah.
Well, thank you so much, Ms. Chandler, for your dedication to preserving Deanwood's history and for sharing this important cultural heritage with us. It's so amazing to be able to hear about you and the neighbors who are still in the area, still thriving, and just to see how self-sufficient Deanwood is. And we look forward to ensuring that the commemorative work is a great reflection of that.
Thank you.
Next, we will have, last but certainly not least, we have Ward 8. We heard you all loud and clear during the nomination period. Let's take you back to Berry Farms, where a campaign for mayor was taking place. The smell of fried chicken filled the air, and Marion Barry stops to ask for a piece and enjoys it as he continues his journey. This was a story shared during the naming of Marion Barry Avenue. Let's also visit the Summer Youth Employment Program, where hundreds of youth changed the trajectory of their lives. Khalik Crosby, a participant of the program and current artist for Ward 8, will share his memory of Mayor Marion Barry, affectionately coined the Mayor for Life, and his experience with Mayor Barry's programs. Khalik?
Hey everybody, I appreciate you having me here today. As Atik just said, I am one of the many people that took part in Marion Barry's, summer youth employment program. And I myself, I'm a visual artist and a muralist born and raised in DC. I've done work such as the Dorothy Height mural that was in the beginning of the presentation, as well as some work in at Oxen Run at the Well, which is also right in Ward 8 in Southeast, and some other events during All Night there. So um, a lot of my work deals with the first achievements of African Americans, especially after recognition, the Reconstruction era, excuse me. And Mary Berry has a lot of first achievements, and this is one of them. I think that it's great that this project really celebrates his accomplishment and memorializes someone's work outside of the National Mall. So the program itself was great, you know, my personal experience for networking, really having a way for the youth to engage and work with each other during the summer, just continuing um, the legacy and the work and the team building and the camaraderie that, you know, Marion Barry kind of brought to the city, you know, and trying to show that we could have self-rule and that we could do things on our own. And at this point, the program is really tradition. When I was growing up, I thought it was common to have a program like this, but I actually found out that it wasn't, and that what was taking place was really groundbreaking and something that everybody should, you know, have in their city or in their town. And I actually got my first check from the Summer Youth Employment Program. And I was really young. I was really excited. I think it may have only been $87 or something like that. I'm sure I still have it laying around. I didn't make a lot, but what I learned and getting rewarded for that was great. And I think it really shows because this program and the way he expanded this summer youth was adopted across the nation. And what he did was really made a stamp on Southeast and Congress Heights and that neighborhood being his base as the soul of the city. They're still called that now. Um, am I over time? I'm good.
You're doing great.
Yeah, I can keep talking as well, but I think it's really great to, like I said before, memorialize and recognize people who spent years here and created a community here, and really pass down a legacy that people could relate to. And I think it's important that we have these type of commemorations outside of the National Mall with people that are there day to day, really fighting and working and voting, and trying to better DC, and that have been doing so for 30, 40, 50 plus years.
Thank you so much, Khalik, for sharing your connection to Marion Barry Summer Youth Employment Program. I am sure that there are so many other people who have shared your experience and have such a personal relationship with this subject. So I would like to close for our speaker portion and thank you to each of our speakers for telling their stories and sharing their memories with us. Now that we've had such an immersive and inspiring conversation, I'm sure you're thinking, how can I be a part of this program? Well, there are many ways that you can contribute. One way is by participating in our design workshops and community events. We want your input to envision what these commemorative works will look like and to work with the design team to develop concept designs. You have the power to choose what's reflected in your neighborhoods and to honor the legacies of those who have blazed trails before us. Ashley, our community engagement coordinator, will share more details and we will have a Q&A before we close out for the evening. Ashley, would you like to share what we're all seeing on the slide?
Sure, I felt like my face was just like really close to the to the camera. How you all? Someone laughed. It must have been. How you all doing? I'm Ashley Stevens. I'm the engagement coordinator for the Office of Planning. As we can see, there's a few dates on here, so I don't want to like really read to everyone. But things are kind of moving along. So we have some few things kind of coming back to back. April 20th, we're going to have a great event. We want everyone to come out if possible. It's if you don't know. For the location, you know, the MLK corridor, Nanny Helen Burroughs, and then we'll also be doing something in Ward 7, Ward 4, and Ward 8. So we got a few things going back to back these next few weekends, April 30th, April 22nd, and then also April 27th. We have everything on our public input website, so that's one of the things I will stress. So if you have any questions or you're looking for information, you can feel free to always reach out to Zatique, myself, or other members of the team. But the website also has all the information, and I believe we're going to post this as well. I'm not sure, but I'll follow up if needed. So there we have it.
Thanks so much, Ashley. And I just like to echo the events that we have for the next 2 weekends on Saturdays are for a site visit. We want you all to actually visit the site of the potential commemorative work, talk to the artists, and give us more information about what do you think a memorial should look like, what should it be designed? What should it look like? What should it have? What should people see when they pass by, whether they're walking or in their car? We want to learn more information from you all. So make sure that you invite everyone. It is family friendly, so bring the kids along. And we hope that you'll tell everyone else about this amazing initiative and amazing program. So before we close out, I would like to thank our director, Noochie and his team, all of our guest speakers, and all of the staff from OP who worked tirelessly to bring you this amazing event. I would also like to thank you all for joining tonight, and we hope to see you throughout the year at our future events. Remember, this event was called Commemorate DC, and it's the Commemorate DC series, meaning that we will have events all the way out until October. So make sure that you check out the public input website here on the slide, as well as in the chat for all of the upcoming events. Make sure that you also, if you're interested in volunteering, I forgot to mention, we are so excited to have students be engaged. So if you are interested in volunteering or participating, please visit the public input page and fill out our student volunteer survey. You're able to get community service hours, as well as possibly get a stipend for participating. So please make sure again that you sign up for email updates to keep up with the latest events. And we also have included links in the chat for each of these. We hope that you all really enjoyed this program. And if we could get all of the presenters one more time, just on camera, to thank you all for sharing your story, for talking to us and joining us this night. It's definitely appreciated. Thank you all.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
And
Thank
with
you.
that, we hope you all have a wonderful evening. Take care.
Thank you.
And I will stop the live.
ACT, that was great. Thank you.